What's up everyone, I'm Kevin from Bitcoin for Beginners, and today I want to share with you 5 unique ICO exit scams and what we can learn from them. So if you're curious to dive into each one with me and look at how we can avoid these in the future, then all you have to do is just keep on watching. So welcome to Bitcoin for Beginners. We are all about educational and informative content with no frills nor fluff. While you're watching this video, you can support us if you find it helpful or interesting at all by smashing the like button and subscribing down below to catch our future crypto content. All right, let's get started. Okay, so a quick note about ICO exit scams in general. Last time we did one of these videos, we looked at just the biggest crypto scams like BitConnect and so forth. But this time we want to take a look at a smaller subset, and that's ICO exit scams specifically. So what do I mean by that? That is when founders shut down the project and run away with the investors' money. There are hundreds of examples of this because this is a super popular method for scammers to use. Let's just take a look at 5 of them and see what we can learn from each one. First is Confido. This was led by a Dutch CEO. His name is Joost. And basically the project was building an escrow service for crypto payments to make it easier to transact in crypto. This seemed like a really good idea. I mean, there were other projects building this, but this was a much needed solution for the space. The team was super responsive and helpful on social media, answering people's questions on Telegram shortly after you asked them. One thing though is that they had brand new LinkedIns. And so that means that they didn't have a lot of public history out there online. But their excuse was that in their country, in their culture, it's not that important to have a LinkedIn, unlike in America, for example. In terms of the ICO, they had a limited whitelist and a very tiny hard cap compared to all the other companies trying to raise like tens or hundreds of millions even. This means they got a lot of investor interest because of the high upside. Think about it, if the hard cap is low, then it has a lot of room to grow. Hence, the ICO sold out quickly, and shortly after it was available for trading on KuCoin and IDEX. FOMO occurred as you may have imagined, and the price rocketed 20x from the ICO price. After the price peaked, the CEO announced that there was a legal issue preventing them from continuing the project. It was pretty vague and he wouldn't really say much more. And the price tanked afterwards, as you can imagine. And then it was really bad because the team's online presence was scrubbed and Joost disappeared. It turns out that after some Reddit detectives dug into it, that the LinkedIn names and pictures turned out to be stolen from some other people, like a college student in the Netherlands or something like that. Even more weirdly is that a law firm came out a few days or weeks later saying that Joost or the CEO contacted them and said that he's very sorry for the whole thing. He had to disappear because of threats or so forth, and that they would return the raised funds at the original ICO price. But of course, this doesn't help people who bought it near the top and then the price tanked, making their investment almost zero. Also, the team likely did profit from dumping their tokens on the way up to the 20x. So we shouldn't give them that much credit for allowing investors to get a refund. Number 2 is Oyster Pearl. That one I even bought, and I was really surprised at what happened. This was a project utilizing IOTA and Ethereum, 2 of my favorite protocols out there. And they had a file storage and traffic monetization project. What happened was that the anonymous lead developer called Bruno Block, that was his pseudonym, used a function in the smart contract that was kind of hidden. I mean, smart contracts are all out there so you can take a look, but no one was trying to take a look during the height of the bull run, unfortunately. It was right there and he used it to print more tokens for himself. He sent them to KuCoin and dumped them for other coins and withdrew. It was like hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And it's interesting because he did this right before KuCoin was about to add mandatory know your customer procedures. So afterwards, he probably wouldn't have able to because then police can track him down much more easily. The price tanked afterwards and trading was paused on KuCoin and other exchanges. The rest of the team wasn't apparently involved in this because they were taken by surprise and they actually forked the project into Opacity, OPQ, and gave people a one-to-one conversion. But even more interesting is that Bruno came out on Reddit much later to defend himself, saying that the team was trying to turn Pearl into a greater fool Ponzi, so he dumped the coin so that the team couldn't do so themselves and fool the whole community. I don't know if I really buy that because either way the community is getting super harmed. But he did say that he would continue to build and develop on Pearl by himself, like open source type of project. Number 3 is SaveDroid, and notice the asterisk mark next to this. This is also one that I was semi-familiar with, but it wasn't a real exit scam. But before I get into why, let's just rewind to the beginning. Their ICO looked super legit. They're from Germany, a public team with a long history. Founders showed up in public on YouTube and so forth. Solid white paper, no real red flags. After the ICO though, every investor's biggest nightmare happened. The CEO put out a Twitter post with himself at the beach with a beer saying, "Thanks for your money, I'm gone." And the website changed to the meme. It's the picture on the right, and it's gone. People, of course, went into panic mode on Reddit, on Twitter, everyone trying to look into what happened, visiting their offices, making YouTube videos about it, and even people saying that they knew the CEO in person. They can't believe this happened. Turns out it was a practical joke for PR purposes, to teach investors a lesson about how easy it is to pull off an exit scam, and they vowed to do their part in preventing exit scams in the future. They had to come back in just a couple days after they pulled this prank and explain to the whole community what happened. So they did have perhaps noble intentions, but people were pissed at this. So the question is, was the damage to their reputation worth it? Apparently he got like calls to his mom because detectives and private investigators really started digging in the 24 to 48 hours afterwards. But even though a lot of us like to hate on them now, the lesson that they tried to teach us is still true. And that is, it's super easy to do an ICO exit scam by bad actors. So thus you should never invest more than you can afford to lose, even if you do all the due diligence in the world. Number 4 is Proteum, and this is better known as the penis scam. It was supposedly a project to track fruits and vegetables on the blockchain, to like track their quality and like supply chain stuff, you know? They raised roughly 500,000 to 1 million worth of Ether, but on January 2018, the website was scrubbed and replaced with a simple word, penis. Social media accounts were deleted as well. During the ICO, they even paid for people on Fiverr, a popular freelancing and gig website, to write their name on the body, picture on the right. And it turns out the founder's profile was actually fake. Someone claimed that it was identity theft. So what we learned from this is that it's very hard to tell team legitimacy. You really need to be like a private investigator to really look into the founders and see if they are real or legitimate. Because there's many ways they can give themselves an aura of legitimacy, like those services on Fiverr, for example. Last but not least, Bitcoin with 2 eyes. This was an obvious red flag because they added one other eye to Bitcoin's name to play on its name recognition. And also they had a celebrity endorsement by Steven Seagal. This is kind of crazy actually. Of course, after it backfired and it would turn out to be an exit scam, he regretted it enormously. They claimed to raise 75 million from investors. Afterwards, the team said that they were withdrawing from the project to make it decentralized from Bitcoin, like their Satoshi, for example. But just in general, celebrity endorsements for crypto projects are instant red flags. Don't forget, the SEC warned all celebrities to not do this anymore and that they can be held liable. Just remember, Floyd Mayweather and DJ Khaled with Centratech also faced this. So what are the general lessons that we learned? Some common lessons include that you really have to dig into the team as much as possible. Never invest too much, even in the ones without glaring red flags. Also, celebrity endorsements usually mean stay away. Social media buzz does not mean it's legit. It's also good to wait for a smart contract audit and demand that the team do so as well from popular companies out there. I can't cover everything. There's constantly new scammers coming up with new ways to pull exit scams. Just be diligent, be careful. If push comes to shove, just don't participate in these types of really risky ones at all. So another thing that you can do to help actively is to join us at Crypto Canary. This is a Yelp for crypto site that we at Bitcoin for Beginners are building. You can access it at www.cryptocanary.app. And it's basically community reviews, right? So anyone can participate, add your research, add your warnings, add your thoughts. If you come across any project, you're like, hey, this is shady. I need to tell people about it. I need to warn them. But if I just post on Twitter or if I just post on Reddit, it's going to get buried down. No one's going to see it. This is what Crypto Canary solves. So you can add a project if you come across a shady one, help those noobs out there fall for scams, and together we can work together to share our knowledge and warn people before they fall for scams, really clean up the space and get to mass adoption. This is Kevin, thanks for watching. As once again, if you like this video, please give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys next time.